and with the collaborative partnership support of the Caribbean Center for Development Administration, CARICAD, the Mind Public Life Award also recognizes and honors the contribution of a Caribbean public sector leader and their significant impact in driving service excellence, innovation, growth, and development. At this time, I would like to welcome to the stage Dr. Georgetta Grant, who will say the grace. After which the hotel will begin serving, and then we will move into the introduction of the keynote speaker.
Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we humbly come before your presence this very moment. We thank you for all the good gifts that you have given to us. We thank you for good health. We thank you for life. And we thank you for this opportunity to gather together in this fashion. Lord, we want to thank you for the food that has been prepared. And as we are about to partake, we ask for your blessings. We ask that it will do good to our bodies. For these and other mercies we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Whilst we warm our stomachs, I have the responsibility to introduce the Lady of the Hour, Mrs. Shorville Johnson Cunningham. Shorville Johnson Cunningham is the Chief Executive Officer of Sagicor Bank Jamaica Limited, a subsidiary of Sagicor Group Jamaica. With over 3 decades of experience in the financial sector, the renowned leader joined the Sagicor team in January 2018. Shorville is a trailblazer in the financial services industry with an impressive track record of success at the leadership level. She is a change maker, a team builder who is results-oriented, embraces competition, and focuses on exceptional client experience. She consistently develops and maintains strategies that carefully balance risk and rewards to meet targets and objectives. Throughout her career, she has held numerous senior management positions in the financial industry, such as Proven Wealth Limited, Proven Fund Managers Limited, First Global Financial Services, Scotia DBG, and Daring Bunting and Golding Limited. Charvel is a proponent of female empowerment and women shattering, yes, shattering societal expectations. She is Jamaica's first International Women's Forum Fellow and served for 1 year between 2015 and 2016, where she studied leadership at Harvard and INSEAD Business Schools. Charvel is currently the deputy chair of the Women's Leadership Initiative and the membership committee. With a diverse educational background, Charvel currently holds the prestigious title of a Chartered Banker MBA and is a member of the Chartered Banker Institute from Bangor University in the United Kingdom. She is also a holder of a bachelor's degree in professional management from the Nova Southeastern University and is a trained teacher with specialization in business education. A proponent of healthy living, Charvel is a vegan and in 2012 published the book Simply Vegan, The Jamaican Way, where she explored the many aspects of her lifestyle with her readers. She enjoys yoga, walking, athletics, football, listening to music, and experimenting with vegan lifestyle by cooking and trying new vegan meals. Charvel is married to Vaughn with 3 children. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Charvel Johnson Cunningham.
So, good afternoon, everybody. All right, so I know you don't eat lunch, so I know that's why everybody didn't answer me, but I'm going to try again. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. And I acknowledge that I'm the main event between your main lunch, so I'm going to keep it very exciting and very concise, but to the point, Yes? All right, so I have a question. If you guys said, okay, Hurricane Beryl just happened, right? And before Hurricane Beryl, most organizations closed at 12. So if you went to KFC, if you love chicken and you love KFC and the chicken wasn't ready, how would you feel? How would anybody feel? By show of hands, tell me who would vex, say KFC not ready. You'd behave bad, don't it? Most people are going to behave bad. And if you go into my bank, which is Sagicor Bank, and because Beryl coming, and we decide to send the team home earlier too, but you never get let out early, so you never get to come in, you'd call us the wicked bank, don't it? Right. And some of you would look for my number, which is in the branch, which is 220-1830, and call straight to my office and say how I'm wicked and close the bank early. Yeah? I always answer my phone, Alan, always. Right? So somebody going to pick up that phone and then would have to explain, ladies and gentlemen, Beryl is coming. Just like yourself, we have to close the bank at a certain time, right? But my point is this. Client experience matters. Whether it be KFC, whether it be all the ministries you guys work with. Oh, let me give you one more example, by the way. You got tax office. Should I go there? All right, the no's have it. I'm not going there. But we got to an entity, and we never get through, and we don't know where to go. It matters, right? So what I'm here to talk about today is not those that are going to have people pack their bags and start sing. I'm leaving on a jet plane. Me don't know when me I go come back inside here again. So that means that the business gone, right? So that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about is what we in this room will need to do to keep the service delivery going. So I'm going to go through maybe about 8 roles that you as leaders must play to get the service delivery in customer experience right. And the first one is that you guys have to be change agents. You know what a change agent is? Even if this is what the policy states, even if this is how the procedures happen, when we see things aren't working right, we have to immediately be the change agent. We can't just settle client when they come through the door. This is the policy and the process. Because the client is already in pain. You have to be a change agent. You have to be like a live wire, not like JPS the other day that wasn't so live. That's a dead wire, right? So we have to be a change agent. But more importantly, we have to be willing to make immediate changes. Because if we don't make immediate changes, we're going to have problems. So Bill Gates says, your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. So I never see a mistake as a failure. I see it as an opportunity. I don't call things bad service. I call it opportunities to improve service. Right? So as a change agent, you have to change your mindset from thinking the negative side and turn it into positivity. You with me? You in agreement with me? All right. So the next role you have to play is deal with the happiness of who? Your internal clients first. Don't get it wrong. If your internal clients not happy, then your external clients will never be happy. If your internal clients upset about them pay, if your internal clients have stuff going on at home, if your internal clients don't have the utensils they need to do their job, there's no way they're going to do lights, camera, action when your clients come through the door. So before you even think of delighting your customers, you have to first delight your internal clients. So that is where you start. After you call yourself the change agent, the next thing you have to do is to delight your internal clients. Let them feel, let me correct them, let them know that you care about them. Because if your internal clients just think you see them as, hello, all your role to do is to push paper and serve the clients. You don't care if them pop down, you don't care if they eat, you don't care if their child not well. If you don't care about any of those things, how do you expect them to care about your clients? So you have to start the love from there. Because if they are happy, they will serve your clients in a happy way. So the big deal is to lead from the top. So if as the CEO of Sagicor Bank, I need to get some cash for myself, and me walk through the door and walk past every client in there who complaining, I'm not doing my job. So in leading from the top, if you want to say to your clients, if I want to say to my branch manager, walk the floor and see what is happening, I have to show how to do it. So when I walk through the door, good afternoon, are you getting through, can I help? And you run in the line till you all forget what you went there to do. Right? So you have to lead from the top. You can't just tell people this is what you must do. You have to be the leaders. All of you in this room are leaders. But if you're not leading from the top, who are they following? If you walk past the clans, who are they following? Monkey see, monkey do. Monkey see, monkey do. So anything you do, they're going to do it. And my dad always says, couple things. My dad always says, no man is an island, no man stands alone. And do unto others as you'll have others do unto you. Anything you don't like for yourself, don't do it to people. It's as simple as that. So if you want to be treated like royalty, you have to treat people like royalty. You have to treat your clients like royalty, right? And, you know, they have the saying in Jamaica, one hand cannot clap. One hand cannot clap. So we have to ensure everything is in order with that. So as the team leads, you have to set the tone. You have to give the guidance. You have to give that effective communication. You cannot communicate in such a way that the people on the east think this is how something's supposed to be done. Then when you talk to the people at the south, they're doing something else, north doing something else, and the people on southwest doing a combination of all of the above. So you have to communicate in such a way and set the tone and set the guidance so that everybody is clear. What about standards? How should we put standards in place? As I say, if you don't have anything, everybody going to do their own thing. You might have an area that is doing exceptionally well in the industry, right? So let's say in the public sector, you have one of these areas in public sector that's very good at what they do. You know what I would do? Go to them and say, how do you do it? Can I see your policies and processes and standards? And then that now is the standard. Then you take time and roll it out across the way. But then if these people are getting an A+ by the clients and everybody talking about them, and then another one not getting A+, and you're going to use the one down the bottom of the barrel to set the standards, then what you get across the board will not be what you want. And then again, if none of them across the board, not at that level, then you need to develop it. And how can you develop it? You need to talk to the clients. You need to talk to the clients and say, what are we doing well? What are we not doing well? What you like, what you don't like. And trust me, clients love to tell you everything them not like. They don't like to tell you when you do good. In fact, I do have a 220 number in my branch, which is not for complaints, it's for suggestions. And what I've found recently, people are calling me to tell me when my staff do well. Like I have a branch and they did well, they call and said this branch. And in fact, what they do is tell me the specific name of the person. Because they might not be at the standard all the time. What do you think I do with that? Hide it under a bushel? You think I hide it under a bushel? No. I send out a big blast to the whole network and make everybody know. Guess what? Mary Jane did this to our client and this is the client's comment. Because it cannot be that I only get upset when Tom Stokes does something wrong and may reprimand Tom Stokes. If they do good, you must show that they're doing good. And then you find out, you take Mary Jane, and this is where she feels very important. How do you do it? What do you do? Come into this room and present to your peers and tell them what exactly you do. So it does two things. It makes Mary Jane feel good. So she go and consistently do it. Then it made the other competitive one them say, what the hell? How come is Mary Jane one up there? I do these things all the time, but nobody ever tells the CEO. So you know what them do? See the CEO number up there. Call her and tell her, say we're doing well, so them can get the kudos and the big ups as well. Or get a customer service award. So you have to find these little things that really impact people, that will impact your business. Everybody has to buy in. And that's very important because if you have team members, and trust me, the different generations, we thought the millennials were bad. And none of them not bad, they're all good, by the way. We thought the millennials were exceptional. And then we reached the Gen Zers, and then what they call it, the Gen Allers, or whatever they're calling them nowadays. Some of them don't even like to see people. It's not a joke, it's a serious thing. They don't want to be client-facing. The first thing they do is put up their hands and say, can I work from home? Right? So you have to analyze and know the people that you're working with. Not everybody is client-facing. And if they're not client-facing, do not put them in front of clients. Because they can pretend for this much and no more. They're going to mash up your business. So analyze, the whole room start talk. I think I actually hit a nail on the head. But if you have kids, you're going through that at home anyway. Because they're different. They're going to the bathroom on their phone with the same person for 3 hours. And the person sits on the phone. So you have to know where their strengths are and use them. But as leaders, what's important is how you analyze, observe, and implement. Analyze, observe, and implement. You have to be keeping your eyes open for change. And change is the only constant in life. Change is the only constant in life. How we used to do things 10 years ago, if we still look on the paper and it's the same processes and procedures we have to serve our clients, we're doomed. We are doomed. So you have to dust that off and go with the times. And on the other side, just the same way you have the Gen Zers at work, remember that they're clients as well. So how do you serve them? How do you serve them? Remember, they only want things online. So if you give them the enter Jamaica to come into Jamaica, they're fine. Give them the form, they're upset. So you have to find a way to serve your clients no matter the age or stage that they're on. And then what about training? What do we do when we recognize that somebody is not at the level of the client delivery that we need? Do we just push them in a corner? Do we have the appropriate client experience training ready for all of these people? You must have a client experience training always, always for team members, including me, including yourself, right? You have to have that in place where you immediately can do a refresher. At the beginning of the year, you go through client experience training. End of first quarter, you see how you're doing, you decide whether you need to do a refresher or upgrade the training. Mid-year, you go again. And you do that constantly. New people come in, you don't make somebody else train them. Unless you can guarantee that they're going to train the people in the way that you want. Because, I tell you, what I call it telephone line when you use the milk can. You hear me age myself now. You know when you used to use a milk can and somebody have the string down there, or you do the other one where you whisper in somebody's ears and by the time it go around it's something totally different? Thank you. Thank you so much. You see, Chinese telephone, it got through training as well. Yes, if you give the wrong person to train them, they train them in the Chinese telephone manner. So if you don't have a correct manual, script, somebody set to train these people, you're going to have issues. Because the Chinese telephone, instead of saying, good morning, sir, thanks for coming in. My name is Shorville Johnson Cunningham. How are you? Good morning. How are you? What you want? May not even give your name. But you want that consistency. So no matter which entity in the public sector that somebody goes, it should be the same thing across the board. It shouldn't be that you go in one and you can't get help, and in the other, please take a ticket. Go to this number one. Oh, after you finish there, I want to do so-and-so. Go to so-and-so number two. And that is well organized. Well organized. But at the end of the day, the clients still don't get to achieve what they want in the time factor. So the customer experience training must teach about timing. Timing. It cannot be something that for the whole day you spend in a whole place. I get in there. I'm at roll number 4, guys. We're getting there. So the big deal is to listen to your clients. So first we spoke about the internal clients, but you have to listen to your external clients. Some of them don't like tell you when you're not doing well. So they're just gone. And then you see them down the road and they say, oh, you're from so-and-so? I'm not doing business with you anymore. I came in there and this happened. You can't fix it at that stage. So I love the clients who call me and complain. In fact, I put them in high esteem because if they call and complain, that means they want us to change. You see the one them when nobody call, them gone. They're not coming back. So you have to find a way to keep them engaged and you have to find a way to listen to them. Now, whether or not you're going to do surveys after they've come in to see you. So you can ask them to, and not a 10-page survey either. You can ask them to do like 3 questions. How was the service? How did we do? Rate us from 1 to 10, how we did. What can we improve on? Anything else? Is there a team member you want to recommend? Things like that. So you ask them that survey. Or at the end of every year, you have a massive survey that goes out to different people. And you delve into more details to ask them what we did right and what we did wrong. The shorter survey is to change now. The longer one is to see how we stack up against our competitors. How are we doing? Is it possible to stack public sector entities against each other? Maybe there could be a reward to see who is doing best in service delivery. But you have to have a standard service delivery first, right? So you have to use technology. Use technology to see how you're doing and incorporate the short surveys. Another big one is customer focus groups. Get 10 clients or more, depending on your organization and what you want to accomplish. Get some clients, bring them in a room, let them tell you how they really feel. But they have to be clients who can, be honest and open and really tell you what is going on. And then you design your whole customer experience around that. Those customer focus groups really work. And I spoke to the fact that you should already ask clients' opinion. It don't have to be anything formal. Just ask how they felt about the service, how they felt about being in there. Once I got a call, one of my branches, there were short tellers. And somebody called the 220 number and they said, listen, there was no senior citizen line and they're really upset about it. So I said to my team, if you pull a senior citizen line, you still have to look in the line and pull the senior citizens out the line, right? So it's just how you communicate and how you do these things. Another big one is to empower your team. So yes, we have the whole standard and all of that, and we have the training. But let's say somebody come in with something that is not normal, and they're asking for something else to do. Nothing big, but say, for example, they're supposed to carry a reference and they want to carry it in tomorrow. It shouldn't mean that they have to go all the way up to you to make that decision. You need to find a way to empower your team members to make the smaller decisions. Once they can make those decisions, then it's easier for you, right? I'm not saying that they're going to break every law, but if Madam Brown came in today and she said, boy, I leave my job letter just down the road, can I just do this and come back? They should be able to make those decisions, right? And you find that when you make those exceptions for clients, they're even more willing to come to you to get things done. I'm actually on my final page, guys. So I saw a quote from Maya Angelou, and she says, clients will forget what you did and what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Right? They'll forget what you did and what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So you need to make sure that your clients feel like they're one of you and they feel exceptional no matter what you do, right? So you're bringing them to a place where they really love to come in there and see you. That is delighting your client, and that is giving an excellent customer experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chorvel. And might I say, what an exceptional example of, let me say, a soft public-private partnership. So it shows that the matter of service excellence is something that is important to the public service and as well as we know the private sector. And here is one of the premier leaders giving us a leader's story, a leader's experience, and some practical examples of what to do. And the last thing I'd like to say, Chorvel, I'm sure you didn't want me to say this, but just the experience of her this afternoon, because she's literally almost stepping off an airplane. And she still said yes. She still made it here in spite of all she was coming back to. So we thank Sagicor for making the time, and thank you for making the experience what it is for us today. Thank you.
Just letting you know that our live band today is Mellow Groove. So let's just give them a round of applause again for the music that will be provided throughout the luncheon. You're having fun, right? Yes, okay. Well, the moment has arrived for the announcement of the Public Life Award for Leadership Excellence, where we will award a public servant, Jamaican, as well a public servant from the region. But before we make the announcement, I'm going to call on Dr. Ruby Brown, CEO of Mind, who will just provide you with a bit of context around this Public Life Award.
So back in 2008, when we started our leadership development conferences, and for subsequent years, we never had the Mind Public Life Award for Leadership Excellence. In fact, we never started this award until in 2013, I think it was. And this came across, in fact, this came against the backdrop that we recognize, and I thought that our cabinet secretary, as we chatted a while ago, kind of put it quite succinctly for me, that we have a culture, and our intention is to change that culture, where we are very sparse with praise, but absolutely generous with criticism. And we found that across the years, that's what we felt, that's what we heard. And so back in 2013, we felt that we wanted to bring to life the fact that every single human being, his or her greatest desire is to feel appreciated. One of the interesting things that we also found is that while that resonates, that fact resonates with each and every one of us, there seemed to have been a practice that leaders are the ones who must appreciate others. We appreciate our direct reports, and absolutely, that must happen. But there seemed to have been a failure to appreciate our leaders and to say thanks. And so we thought then that we wanted to add this to each of our conferences. We wanted to use our conferences to express appreciation, to say thanks to our outstanding public sector leaders. In fact, this is how we framed it at that point in time, and I'll read the exact words. We agreed back in 2013 that this award would recognize public servants, both current and past, who have demonstrated excellence in achieving results for the citizens, who reflected the priorities of the public service in their professional careers, and who promoted the professionalism and visibility of the service, while also demonstrating key leadership competencies towards motivating public servants to embrace, drive, and practice service excellence in governance. That's what we agreed to back in 2013. As you can well appreciate, when we started this in 2013, we didn't yet have a regional conference. And so our first awardee was a Jamaican. But then over time, we transitioned to a regional conference. And so our conferences now recognize not just a Jamaican public sector leader, but also a regional leader. And this year, we are doing no less. And this year, in keeping with the theme of our conference, sustaining public service transformation through leadership for service excellence, the awards will be based on the following. So let me just quickly share with you the criteria here for this award. Citizen satisfaction. So it's a leader who shows a track record of efficiently utilizing resources while achieving desired outcomes. And this includes optimizing processes, reducing waste, and delivering services in a timely manner. And I think I jumped to efficiency and effectiveness there. So let me go back up to citizen satisfaction. The leader should demonstrate a commitment to meeting the needs and expectations of citizens. And when you hear who our awardees are, you'll be able to identify these criteria with them. It's also about transparency and accountability, equity and inclusivity, community engagement, innovation in public service, sustainability, adaptability and resilience. And we have been speaking a lot about resilience in our conference over the past 2 days. Ethical leadership and positive impact on society. So these are the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 criteria that we utilize in arriving at our awardees today. So that's the backdrop. And so we are not going to linger any longer. We are going to get right to recognizing our awardees for this year's Public Life Award for Leadership Excellence. And so I invite Georgia to take over from here.
And as Ruby said, we're going to get right into it. So, the Mind Public Life Award for Leadership Excellence to a Jamaican public servant is awarded to Mr. Everton Anderson, Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Fund. I now invite Mr. Lloyd Pascoe, who will read the citation to Mr. Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, could we rise and acknowledge Mr. Everton Anderson?
Good afternoon. You may be seated. It is with immense pride and admiration that we present the Mind Public Life Award 2024 to Mr. Everton Anderson, a visionary leader who has revolutionized healthcare in Jamaica. Since January 2013, Mr. Anderson has led the National Health Fund as the Chief Executive Officer. His distinguished leadership of the institution has propelled the NHF to become a stellar public sector organization with a strong reputation for service excellence. Mr. Anderson's career in health administration includes roles such as Regional Director of the Western Regional Health Authority, Chief Executive Officer of the Cornwall Regional Hospital, and Parish Manager in the St. James Westmoreland and Hanover Health Services. Over the last decade, Mr. Anderson's unwavering commitment to the people of Jamaica has been demonstrated by his dedication to quality service and innovation of numerous health projects, including the establishment of modern cancer treatment centers. He is a staunch advocate for implementing a national health insurance plan aimed at alleviating the pain and suffering of vulnerable groups and senior citizens with limited health coverage. Mr. Anderson's commitment to leadership and service excellence are evident in his approach to inclusivity inclusivity. He established a customer service protocol for persons with disabilities, revised staff handbooks to address persons with disabilities-related matters, and prioritize services for persons with disabilities. He has also championed subsidies for diabetic supplies and prostate-specific antigen test, and developed the JADEP program, providing free drugs to Jamaicans aged 60 and over. His tenure as CEO has also ensured the implementation of systems to grant immediate treatment access for those without an NHF card. Everton Anderson's transformative leadership has resulted in the NHF becoming one of Jamaica's most reliable and efficient institutions. His innovative approach to service delivery includes enhancing drug availability, the introduction of an at-home delivery system for pharmaceuticals, home visits for the elderly, electronic prescription submissions, and island-wide sourcing from NHF pharmacies. Under his guidance, the NHF streamlined the efficient application and delivery of health cards, as well as the pharmaceutical warehouse, achieving ISO 9001:2015 certification. Additionally, he has overseen significant advancements in the national healthcare system, including the development of cardiology and dialysis services, neurosurgery and chemotherapy suite at Cornwall Regional Hospital. During the COVID-19 pandemic, you'll recall, the NHF under Mr. Anderson's leadership swiftly adapted to the crisis by increasing medication access and implementing measures to minimize pharmacy visits for vulnerable population. His strategic governance has ensured that the NHF consistently deliver quality services while prudently managing fiscal resources. Congratulations, Mr. Anderson. Your extraordinary leadership has not only transformed our healthcare system, but has also set a benchmark for excellence in public service, inspiring a nation and the wider Caribbean region. Put your hands together for Mr. Anderson.
I now invite Mr. Anderson to the stage and Honorable Audrey Sewell, Cabinet Secretary, who will make the presentation of the citation.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon again. Let me thank the team from mine for this recognition. I've been affiliated with mine, I was telling Dr. Brown, from my first day at work. And you guys have been good to me, and I think we've been good to each other. Coffee says in her song, do it for the love, not for the likes. And that has always been my thing. I love what I do. I love going into the waiting room, and when a patient expresses satisfaction, it makes my day, absolutely. And I'd like to thank my team for putting up with probably one of the most eccentric leaders they will ever work with, because we dream big dreams, and when we go to work, we want the big dreams to be implemented right away. And I've never had pushback from my team. In fact, most times they make my ideas better, and I want to thank you for that. So I accept this as a call to even greater service, and you can be sure that I will press even harder to serve the people of our country. Thank you very much.
So, we are awarding not just to a Jamaican public servant, but also to a regional public servant. So, the Mind Public Life Award for Leadership Excellence to a regional awardee is Mrs. Jackie Samson Miguel, Ombudsman of Trinidad and Tobago. Can we stand and acknowledge the work and achievements of Mrs. Samson Miguel?
Thank you very much. It is with immense pride and admiration that we present the Mind Public Life Award for Leadership Excellence 2024 to Miss Jackie Samson Miguel, a visionary leader who has revolutionized Parliament in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. For 37 years, from 1995 to 2023, Mrs. Jackie Samson Miguel gave human service to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago's public service, retiring as Clerk of the House of Parliament in October 2023. On May 20, 2024, she was sworn in as the Ombudsman of Trinidad and Tobago. Throughout her public life, Mrs. Samson Miguel consistently showed citizen satisfaction by demonstrating a commitment to meeting the needs and expectations of citizens. She is renowned for setting high expectations, and Parliament's operational efficiency is due mainly to her leadership. She navigated bureaucratic systems with firmness, respect, and was quite resourceful in finding solutions to rigid and outdated public service human resource rules and regulations. In the execution of her role as Clerk of the House, Mrs. Samson Miguel was a principal advisor to members of Parliament and committees on matters of parliamentary procedure, and had earned the confidence, trust, and respect of employees the nearly 600 parliamentarians who sought her counsel, and clients and stakeholders alike. She never conveyed partisanship, was quite skillful at managing political exigencies, and deflecting no shortage of partisan activism. And even in the face of keen political rivalry, she astutely showed equity and inclusivity. Mrs. Sampson Miguel was instrumental in driving organizational innovation, effectiveness, and efficiency throughout the public sector. She successfully launched significant new and innovative services that improve the work of the legislative branch, including the move towards a paperless parliament, to improve the efficiency of the operations of the parliament, leading to a significant reduction in the use of paper, cost savings, and ensured timely access to important documents. She revolutionized its operations for greater efficiency by also improving public communications, digitalizing Hansard and other records, and facilitated the revision of the standing orders. Mrs. Sampson Miguel impact extended beyond the shores of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. She executed several roles which had a positive impact on the Caribbean region, including her work as Regional Secretary of the Caribbean, the Americas, and Atlantic region of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, and facilitated the coordination of all CPA regional activities. She was also a member of the Commonwealth study groups on parliamentary and constitutional academic topics, and served as a facilitator at workshops, seminars, and university programs designed to cultivate leadership capabilities, foster personal growth, and knowledge of democratic rules and norms. We salute you, Mrs. Jackie Sampson Miguel. Your practice of leading with honesty, transparency, resilience, and a strong sense of institutional responsibility has left an indelible mark of public service excellence, inspiring a nation and the wider Caribbean region. We thank you.
I now invite Sean McEwan, our Manager for Creative Development, to escort Mrs. Sampson Miguel to the stage to receive her citation. Devon Rowe, the Executive Director of CARICAD, will make the presentation to Mrs. Sampson Miguel. We now invite Mrs. Sampson Miguel to respond.
Thank you, Dr. Brown of Mind Jamaica and your team, your amazing team. Thank you, Mr. Rowe and CARICAD, including my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Parks, and the team that was responsible for selecting me for this incredible honor. This moment, well, for me, is not just about my many, many years of public service. It is an acknowledgement of the fact that purpose really does matter in all things. And when I joined you yesterday, you were speaking about that, and that was my takeaway. Because throughout my public service career, my purpose was always the people. Initially, yes, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, but increasingly, it became more about the people of the Caribbean, where I call home. And this job allowed me the opportunity to expand my boundaries way beyond the home of my birth. In my public service journey, I've met quite a number of amazingly talented public service leaders and public officers from throughout the region. The Caribbean Leadership Development Program, of which I was a member of the first and fabulous cohort, number one, not so Ambassador Underwood, made it very possible for me to meet amazing, talented public service leaders. And I've always felt blessed to be in their company, as I've felt blessed to be in your company this past 2 days. And public service is indeed an honorable service, and one you must have a passion for. You must have a passion for your people, your culture, your country. And I don't have to tell you, Jamaicans, how absolutely great and wonderful your country is. And that you have the opportunity to take Jamaica and the Caribbean to higher heights as public officers. So I totally enjoyed my career. I enjoyed building and creating and gleaning ideas from the young team members, and I loved surrounding myself with young ones and the not so young ones. And we molded all sorts of ideas together to deliver a product that brought benefits. So thank you once again, Mind and CARICAD, for reminding me of my purpose. As Ombudsman, my role now is to protect the rights of the citizens in relation to the public service. But while doing so, I intend to continue to develop the public service product. To the facilitators and coaches and everyone who believes in the importance of our work, your trust and encouragement is invaluable. So colleagues, continue to dream big, to build, to work hard, to support one another, and to push the boundaries. Also, never forget that in all things, give God the glory and the praise. Thank you once again for this incredible honor. I am deeply grateful and more determined than ever to continue this journey, inspired by your recognition and by your support. I thank you.
I now invite to the stage Mrs. Andrea Toussaint, Manager of Leadership Development Unit at Mind, who will move the vote of thanks.
The Honorable Audrey Sewell, specially invited guests, presenters, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. You just had a meal. Good afternoon. Oh, thank you so much. The depiction of the life cycle of the butterfly on the conference flyer and program is deliberate. It symbolizes the transformation, renewal, and the leadership development journey that was envisioned for all conference attendees at the end of this year's conference. Over these 2 days, all of us would agree that we were given the opportunity to begin the transformative process of leading self first and others to sustain a culture of service excellence in our respective organizations, beginning with a changed mindset. Would you agree? Wonderful. There are several persons who made this conference an awesome, amazing, auspicious learning experience. And I am honored to say thanks on behalf of MIND to each of you. Now, this could take some time. However, in the interest of time, I will be brief. Our culminating activity, the Public Life Awards Luncheon, has been a fitting note on which to end our face-to-face conference. Heartfelt gratitude to our guest speaker, Mrs. Johnson Cunningham, for her captivating, stimulating, and inspiring speech, which provided us with the roles of leaders in service excellence. Now, like icing on a rich Jamaican fruit cake, she embellished the rich feast of ideas, insights, and illustrations shared during the conference, enabling us to end on this high note. Thank you, Mrs. Sinclair, our resident master of ceremonies, for the conference. Dr. Ruby Brown for providing the context for the Public Life Award, and to Mr. Devon Rowe and Mrs. Sewell for making the presentation to the awardees. I must pause to say that, Mrs. Sewell, you provided tremendous support to this conference, and we really appreciate your presence and your visible commitment to MIND. Congratulations to our awardees, Mrs. Jackie Sampson Miguel and Mr. Everton Anderson, for your impactful careers in Jamaica and in the region, which embody service excellence and demonstrate that leadership of service excellence is possible. Thanks to Mr. Lloyd Pascoe for reading the citation to them. Let me acknowledge the unwavering support provided by our partners, CARICAD, represented by Mr. Devon Rowe, and the Office of the Cabinet Jamaica, represented by Mrs. Marjorie Johnson and Mrs. Tanika Kalam. Your contribution to the steering and planning committees is invaluable. Special thanks to CARICAD for sponsoring the Public Life Awardee. We really appreciate that contribution. What a conference it has been. Our opening ceremony laid the foundation for a successful conference. Thanks to Ms. Rosemary Jeffrey, who prayed, Dr. Ruby Brown, who gave welcome, Professor Lloyd Waller, Mr. Devon Rowe, and Mrs. Audrey Sewell, who gave remarks. I'm sure in absentia too, I'd like to thank the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clark, who opened the conference and reminded us that as small nation states, we have to be twice as good in a context of crisis after crisis. How can we forget the lively entertainment provided by our violinist, Kemoy Gordon, who left us in high spirits? Our presenters and panelists. We searched far and wide and found the most illustrious presenters and panelists from around the world. We had Mr. McNeely Kropinski, Dr. Ingrid Richter, Mr. James Clemens, Ambassador Joan Underwood, Dr. Tracy Harrell, and our own Dr. Ruby Brown, who led the pre-conference workshop. You were all phenomenal. You made key leadership concepts come alive. You shared practical strategies that all of us can utilize. As a matter of fact, someone at my table said, these strategies are doable. And I thought that was a good compliment to you all. We extend sincere appreciation to you for your engaging and enlightening presentations, which were inextricably linked. I'm thanking Dr. Harrell in advance for the excellent post-conference workshop that she will deliver tomorrow. Ensure that you do not miss it. If you have not registered, there is still time. We are indebted to our panelists who provided international, Caribbean, and Jamaican perspectives on the topical issue of artificial intelligence. Thanks to Ms. Sion Jewel Park, Mr. Benjamin Rosseth, Mr. Rodney Taylor, and to Professor Paul Golding. We are grateful to Ms. Karine Provo, Mr. Everton Anderson, and Dr. Ruby Brown, who openly shared their leadership journey in the roundtable discussion. We found your authentic stories to be meaningful and motivating. Thank you to our moderators, liaison officers, rapporteurs for all the sessions, including the reflection rear view mirror and the chat and draw activity today. They added fun to our conference. Without our delegates, there would be no conference. Mind appreciates your presence and participation, your attentiveness, insightful questions and comments. Our national icon, Miss Lou, would say, clap yourselves. Special thanks too to our regional delegates for your presence here. Not even Hurricane Beryl could deter you. Be assured that your presence enriched our learning experience. Thanks to those of you too who are joining our live stream and who are part of this awards ceremony. What would conference be without our sponsors, the National Housing Trust and Ashley for providing elegant stage sets and for the giveaways. Thanks to our booth holders, Ashley again, Sagicor, and Hermarge for their contribution and presence. We worked with a group of diligent service providers, the Jamaica Information Service, Phase 3, our band Mellow Groove, Jamaica Association for the Deaf, St. John's Ambulance, shuttle service providers, Mrs. Marva Witter, our decorator, and the staff of the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Thank you for the significant roles you played in this conference. Last but not least, allow me to thank the organizers, the steering and planning committees for conceptualizing, planning, and executing this conference, led by our visionary leader and leadership guru, Dr. Ruby Brown. As Dr. Brown indicated, support was provided by several teams. And if I were to name them and explain the contributions they made, again, we would not leave. So I would just like to say to the MIND team, commendation for a job well done. You modeled teamwork and service excellence. Thank you. I tried not to single out any particular person, but allow me to thank Georgia for being an excellent master of ceremonies, an excellent chair of conference, and I must say that amidst a personal challenge, Georgia still showed up and she demonstrated service excellence. So please put your hands together for her. In closing, I urge you to maintain the networks formed during these 2 days and to utilize the insights and takeaways from this conference to help you to sustain public service transformation through your own leadership of service excellence. Be like the butterfly. Participants of Conference 2024, you have been awesome. Thank you very much.
Just in case you're not aware, conference has ended. Thank you. You have been a fabulous audience, and we look forward to engaging you in the future. Just remember, post-conference workshop tomorrow.